Good evening and welcome to Hot News. In today's issues, we'll be talking about blood donations, the importance and some of the side issues about that. But at the same time, in other developing stories, we'll be talking about the cause for minority. They're saying that we are questioning or probing into the security preparedness of our security agencies, and as well as the issues surrounding the energy levy bond issued by the administration. We'll try and get a member of the IES and a security expert online to delve into those issues. But immediately in the studio, I have with me Ernestina Siao and Mr. Charles Anyagba. Aglanya. Thank you very much. I was doing a remix there. They are with PPAG, volunteers with PPAG, and they are going to help us go into the issues concerning blood donations and whatnot. We will try to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll get our security analyst on the line to help us go into the issues raised by the minority in the parliament. We'll come back and still Hot
News. Here's Mom's Geisha Sopa.
And this is...
You can't see.
Let's do the Duncan Jai test.
Look at the other soap.
It's cracking under pressure.
But Geisha is the strongest soap.
That's right, Geisha lasts and lasts.
Yeah, welcome back from that commercial break, and I'm hoping we have our security analyst on the line. I believe he's here to join us. Let's delve straight into the issues. Charles, welcome to Hot News.
Thank you.
You are volunteer with PPAG,
yes.
And you are all about family planning and whatnot. And this evening, you are going to help us delve into some of the pros of blood donations. I understand you have a program coming up, but before we get into that, do you mind throwing more light into this upcoming event and why blood donations? I'm particular about this because I believe there are certain side effects of blood donation that the society or people are not being well educated about. We are jumping. I believe that we are jumping ahead of the whole program without looking at some of the side effects. Do you care to comment on that?
Right. Thank you. As you rightly mentioned, we are from PPAG, and PPAG is a non-governmental organization, and we are into provision of sexual and reproductive health services and information. We seek to provide young people with quality information on their sexual and reproductive health and rights so that they're able to make an informed choice when it comes to sexual and reproductive health issues. Yes, coming back to the question about our program, which is a blood donation campaign, we call it Legon Goes Red. We seek to partner with the National Blood Bank to stock up the blood levels at the National Blood Bank. That's why we seek to do this. And for us, we believe that it's one of our social corporate responsibility to help save life. We are into sexual and reproductive health. We are trying to save life, helping people to manage their families, protect themselves from getting infections. And also, we are in a country where we know many people have lost their life for the simple reason that they didn't have access to blood when they were injured or they needed blood for one treatment or the other. Yes, so that's the main reason why we're organizing this program, to help save life.
Yes, I understand that, but I'm looking at the angle of the safety of these procedures. Do you care to comment on some of the processes that it goes through before blood becomes wholesome to be transfused?
Yes, we're doing this in collaboration with the National Blood Bank, and for a donor, you have to present yourself at the event, and then before the blood is given to another person, after you have donated, there's a series of tests that you're screening before you are even qualified or adjudged to be qualified to donate blood. And when that blood is donated, it goes under further screening to be sure that the blood that's going to be given to a patient or a client is clean and is not going to give that person any infection. We do series of screening.
That is where I have a problem.
Yes.
Series of screening, and I've researched. There are other school of thoughts, and in fact, issues concerning some of these screening activities where it comes out a bit short. Because, for example, for hepatitis and HIV, this is serious business, right?
Yes.
For hepatitis and HIV, there's a window period.
Yes.
So, for example, if you take my blood and you do your screening,
Yes.
of course, immediately, not me, but immediately I'm HIV negative. There's a window period of 6 months before probably the virus becomes active and whatnot.
Exactly. Yeah.
Within that 6 months, let's say before that, and the same blood is transfused to someone, and that 6 month period finally elapsed, don't you think there's a high risk of giving out infectious blood to other people?
Well,
Or the blood banks, when they take the blood, they store it for 6 months properly for that window period to be safe.
I want to assure you that blood that is donated or transfused to another person is safe. The reason being that before you donate, you are screened to check for hepatitis B and HIV, as you rightly mentioned. And after that screening, when the blood is taken, you donate the blood. It goes under further screening. You do the rapid HIV test where we check whether there are antigen, there are HIV the virus is present in the blood. Then if it's
Can you
not,
hold that thought? I
Yes.
think we have the security analyst online.
Right.
He's going to help us go into other issues. And we'll come back to you.
Okay.
Hello, Adi. Hello. Hello, Adi.
Yes, hello.
Yes, good evening and welcome to Hot News.
Good evening.
My brother, today we would like to ask you to weigh in on some of the issues raised by the minority in Parliament. There were issues concerning the security preparedness of security agencies in Ghana. And indeed, a security analyst also made comments on the fact that the government...
Hello,
can you hear me?
hello,
Hello, Adib, can you hear me?
hello,
Hello?
hello.
Adib Sani on the line. He is our security analyst and he's going to weigh in on comment on some of the issues raised by the minority in Parliament about the security preparedness, about security agencies in their borders amidst the current uprisings, vigilantism here and there, and especially going into the Christmas mood. Is there something more we need to do to be safe? But until we get him back on the line, as you were, my brother, I'll come to you, Ernestina, in a bit, as you were.
Yes, so I was saying the initial screening is done at the point of the donation. And after that is done, there are further, screening, which is done to make sure that under international standard, I mean, these are international standard that the blood banks undertake. These are professionals and they wouldn't do anything that we need to, that will affect the health of the person who is receiving the blood. And there are standard, there are protocols, World Health Organization protocols when it comes to blood donation.
That's what I think he's online. Hello, Adib.
Yes, sir.
Yes, good evening once again and welcome to Hot News.
Thank you, my brother.
Yes, we want to ask your thoughts about the comments raised by the minority and the security aspect that we should be worried, in fact, because about the security preparedness of our security agencies, and especially in our border towns and whatnot. And the comments about the expert also mentioned that successive governments have failed to perhaps look at ensuring that when appointing heads of security agencies, we look into personalities like yourself or persons with security backgrounds, and that it should not be done with business as usual, politicians or job for the boys. What do you think about that, sir?
Well, I would like to, first of all, know security preparedness to counter terrorism or crime or whatever it is.
Exactly. To counter terrorism, cyber crime as well, yes, and vigilantism. I mean, current issues as well.
Okay. Thank you very much, and a very good evening to your viewers. For years on end, our security situation between 0 and 10 can be given 5, or best case scenario 6, due to 3 major reasons. Okay, the first one is because we are not confronting any issue of insurgency in any part of the country like Nigeria is contesting.
We just unfortunately lost my brother, but my director will try and get him back online. And the line is giving us a bit of a problem, but we'll do that. Yes, Charles.
Yeah, just
tonight I'm giving you rapid fire.
In summary, I would say that there's no cause for alarm. There's no.
Is it?
Yes. So because blood banks and officials follow the lay down procedures, and then there's no way somebody could get infection. Why infect somebody who is coming who has an infection or who needs your service? And I don't think if there's any way you could get any infection, the blood bank will even, or the government, the Ministry of Health will even allow for blood to be transfused to another person. So this blood is screened to make sure that, so when you get to the blood bank and then you are asked to donate because your relative needs blood, that blood is not going directly to your relative in most cases. But it is placed so that when someone comes in, then the person can also benefit from the blood you've donated as a person. So the screening is thorough and there's no cause for alarm.
Yes, I'll come back to you with a bit of a screening issues because I still have some things in my bag. Tina, welcome to Hot News, and I hope you're good.
I'm fine.
Yes, do you agree with him? And what are some of your stats? I mean, what informs this decision to all of a sudden let's go donate blood and whatnot? I mean, what makes you think that we need blood?
Yeah, so as he said, PPAG is all about educating people on their reproductive health rights, but we believe that donating is also about touching someone's life. So we thought it's not only about you talking to people about their reproductive health rights and always educating them on that, but we felt like giving back to society. We realized the blood bank, they always need blood, but they don't meet the target they need. Annually they need 250,000, but they don't meet that. So we thought it's wise to organize this program so that people come on board to donate and save a life.
So as a donor, I mean, what do I benefit from giving out?
So as a donor, first of all, when you go, you're being screened, so free health screening.
Yeah, we'll come to that
also,
one. I mean, so we want to know
as
the
a donor,
benefits.
you get a donor card. It comes like a month later, and with the donor card, you know very well that when you take it to the hospital, like you get blood. As compared to if you don't have the donor card, you have to pay an amount before.
Which is?
With the amount.
Oh, you're not really clear with the amount.
Yes, please.
Okay, don't worry. Let's not go into that. So why don't you probably tell your organization that why don't they sell the blood? When I come and say I want to sell mine, so maybe you take about 3 or 4 pints. I don't know. I'm selling one at maybe 100 cedis or 50 cedis. So does it work that way?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Really?
Yeah.
Or Charles, perhaps you want to comment on
Well,
that?
blood is not supposed to be sold, and nobody sells blood. Anyone who comes to you that paid to is selling blood to you. I mean, why should you sell blood? In any case, even when you get to the hospital and then you are asked to pay, many a times there are complaints that when you visit the hospital, you are asked to pay for the blood that is transfused. But our understanding is that these payments are just for, let me say, operational costs or something, which is even subsidized. Operational cost in the sense that this blood would have to be screened. Now we are partnering with them, so we are taking that cost of the screening and all that. But when you walk into a facility and then you are asked to pay a token before you get a blood transfused to you, it's to cover the cost of screening, storage, and all those things. Those are, and even is subsidized. I don't have the exact rate because it may vary from one hospital or one facility to the other.
Yes. Before I come to you again, I'd like to announce the numbers to contribute to this program. Viewers, if you want to contribute, you can send your contribution. The WhatsApp line is on the screen, so you can send the contribution on WhatsApp to number. But the calling number 0241 501 900. You can call in just about 10 minutes time, and let us have your views on these issues. Do you believe that the blood donation exercise is being organized in the country? Do you believe in the whole activity? Do you think it's safe? Whatever you think or not, let us have your thoughts, and let's send our contribution to WhatsApp number on the number which is on the screen. Back to you, Charles. My issue is all about the infection. I believe that if we renege on the responsibility and we think that okay, it's good, the blood bank needs it, so let's just donate without looking at what really goes into the screening. There might be a time that we might be circulating a whole lot of wholesome blood, because when doing the screening, I don't know if they do screening for malaria. It's a common thing, but
yes, they do screening for all blood-related infection. That's infection that could be transmitted through blood. For instance, STIs. Example
Syphilis.
is HIV, the hepatitis B, and all that. And I must say that it's not a blood bank that needs the blood, but it's you and I.
True.
Who in the next moment you never know you need the blood. With the recent gas explosion, you realize that some facilities were calling for blood. There are road accidents on our road almost every day in, day out. We have women going to the hospital during labor, delivery, cesarean section, and all that. They need blood. There are several instances that people need blood. Children are born and then they need blood. There are some surgeries that you need to have blood on standby. And the blood bank is only appealing to Ghanaians that we should donate, because all these campaigns, you hear numerous organizations appealing for people to donate, and yet they are not able to meet their target. People die in the hospital. One of our members share an experience where she was at the bedside of the cousin, and the cousin died, all because blood was not readily available to that person. At that point, if she had donated blood, it could have saved this cousin's life, but it never happened. So when we thought about having this program, she's so much into it that she's ready. She can't wait for that day to come where she also donate blood to save someone else's life. Though she's lost a relationship, she doesn't want that to happen to somebody because of the experience, what she went through. So we want to encourage everybody, including you.
Including me.
Yes, everybody.
And here we have can you hold up? We have a call online. I think there's a resource person. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, this is Adib.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry about that. We're having a bit of a slight issues with the line. So, as you were before the line dropped, our security preparedness.
Well, like I indicated, it can best be described as average because of three major reasons. Number one, we feel that our country is not content with any form of insurgency in any part of the country, like Nigeria is contending with Boko Haram, especially in the northern part. So security-wise, we are safe, and therefore we are, as it were, immune from any act of terrorism. Okay. Secondly, we feel because no terror organization or leader has come out to specifically state that, look, Ghana, we see you as an adversary, so we are attack you, like they always do. I mean, Bel Mukhtar and of the Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb, and South Bean and South Sharia, a whole lot of them, they come out periodically to state, look, we are going to attack targets, and they sometimes specifically state which targets they are going to attack. Okay. Also, because we have not, in our history as a country, ever come under any terrorist attack, we feel vindicated, we feel immune. No mistake. The issue of terrorism, as I have always indicated, is now a global issue, no more a Western thing. It is happening in almost every countries. It's happening in Mali, it's happened in Ivory Coast, it's happened in so every single day is coming closer to us, and the sooner we put the right protocols on the ground, the better. Because when the president came to power, one of his first appointments was a Minister of National Security, who is supposed to coordinate the activities of the various intelligence agencies who hitherto did their work in isolation. The BNI investigation and keep their records to themselves. National Security will do their investigation, keep the records to themselves. But with the formation of the National Security Ministry, which is consistent with the law, our hope that a lot of more security protocols and mechanisms will be put to forestall any terrorist attack. Before it happens, then we start running helter-skelter. So the terrorism threat is very real. However, from where I was, the mechanisms we are putting on the ground is not in line with modern day practice to curb any act of terrorism. Our security agencies, they are trained in so many ways. The police, when they go to the police academy, the military academy, our intelligence gatherers, they are a lot. But we don't really give credence to terrorism. Okay? And that is quite disturbing. Besides, the everyday Ghanaian, in the execution of our everyday duties, normal activities, don't even pay attention to terrorism. We don't pay attention to our security environment. So this is very worrying. I think it's important, as a matter of national security priority, we start training our law enforcement officers, our intelligence agents, to give credence to the issue of terrorism, so we don't have people coming from other parts of the continent or of the world putting together sleeper cells and recruiting people to go join the fight in Syria and other parts of the Middle East. Because the issue is even more dire and precarious. Terrorists don't have to come all the way to Ghana to the power of the internet. And the American State Department has been unequivocal about the issue of recruitment online. Because you have people staging attacks. Recently, we had an attack result of about 5 Argentines in America. You have people staging attacks in France, Belgium, and other parts of Europe, not because they have come into contact with terrorists, but because they have come into them on cyberspace. What cyber have we put on the ground to stop these people from getting in touch with vulnerable people in our society who feel marginalized and who feel that a group of people are against us, are killing us, and if we don't fight back, they will end up killing all of us. They are they have experts in psychology, in cybersecurity. They have experts who are so good, so crafty in social media, and their ability to get in touch with identified people, very vulnerable, is very real. And I think it's high time we put the right mechanisms in place.
So, Adib, do you also agree that it's high time, perhaps, when government is appointing heads of some of these security agencies, they look to personalities with your background, security experts like yourself, and not just any political person? Because from the look of things, some of the uprisings and things happening, you would think that we have all the personalities in place, but we are not seeing anything being done.
Well, when you occupy a position like the intelligence minister or the national security minister, it goes beyond your expertise in intelligence gathering or national security. It's so administrative in nature. You might have a former CIA agent who is Ghanaian becoming the national security minister in Ghana and not being able to do his job because he lacks some administrative skills. Okay, so usually it goes beyond your industrial knowledge of exactly that area. Okay, a whole lot of things goes into it. All right, but that is not to suggest that we don't have competent security people who are in that area who can equally be there. But let me state, without mincing words, that I know Kandapa, Honorable Kandapa, the current National Security Minister. I know his capabilities. I know his administrative skills. And I'm pretty sure that as he has undergone some level of training in national security, okay, he undergoes some briefing, and he's privy to so much information that I'm sure would broaden his horizon. So in selecting appointing the national security minister, I'm sure, it's good just having industrial knowledge of that field. There's a whole lot that goes into it.
And many thanks for your submissions. We will definitely leave a call on you when there's a need for that, and definitely we'll plan for another day that you come into the studio for another.
Thank you, my brother.
Thank you very much, sir. Have a good evening. Yes, viewers, that was Adib Sani, our security analyst. He weighed some of the commentaries by the minority and concerns. We'll try and get on the line and personnel, and I think Director of Education and Information of IES, Institute of Energy and Security, to also weigh in on the current buha concerning the energy levy bond raised by the administration. And with me here is still Charles Aglanya.
Yes.
Yeah, hope I got it right. Then Tina, we are still into the blood donations. And Charles, as we wait for it, I don't know who to send my next bomb to, whether to Tina or to yourself. But I'll come to Tina, but I want to lay easy on the lady and be having my fight with you concerning viewers. Yes, before I even go on, the number to send to send your contributions on WhatsApp is 026 084 6539. I repeat, 026 084 6539, and the calling number is 0241 501 900. Do call in now. The phone lines are open, and let us have your take on this issue we're discussing: blood donation. Is it a safe thing? Are we not jumping the cart? Let's have your views about that. And Charles, I was about before my security analyst called. I did a bit of research, and I found out that there was in US there have been this breakthrough technology, and it's not actually new. It's actually been there for a while, about bloodless surgery, where what they do is that they have surgery because of the need. Other school of thought who believe that they're not really into this blood transfusion and whatnot. So science, other researchers went into the art of finding out whether they could really do surgeries, major surgeries, without actually spilling blood. And actually, it's working in Inglewood, in US. And that's why I'm asking that to begin with the whole thing. Are we not just being regimental? Are we just following the process? I mean, this is Ghana. I mean, it's blood donation, so wait, let's get up, let's go. Why don't we research into other ways of doing probably, our surgeries? I mean, there could be instances, yes, somebody has lost blood. Those are those ones. But are we looking at other aspects of doing surgeries that will not probably lose a lot of blood? Don't you think it's high time we researched and not follow this regimental approach to things?
Yes, I think so. And as you rightly said, in the US, we are in a global world now. It's an issue of if the US has started something or has come out with has research where they could now offer surgery without, giving. It's not every surgery, I might say, that involve blood transfusion, though. But if there's a need for blood to be transfused, that is done in Ghana. But if there are technology or research that can take the place of you taking blood.
Exactly. What they do is that they don't actually, they don't waste the blood. So whatever your own blood that they cut you out is only stored in a device, or it's only warmed up or something. So after the whole procedure, it's pumped that back into you.
Well, I think doctors, medical professionals, specialists are learning
in Ghana,
and they read. I know they read and they are learning, and definitely as
things to be corrected.
As things that I'm sure soon our specialists will get hooked up to this technology, and if it's effective and it's accepted by the World Health Organization, then there are protocols to be followed, and we feel that as a nation, that's the way to go. Why not? Definitely, the government will buy into it. Yes, there are certain things that are going on out there, but maybe because we don't have the resources or we don't have the professionals. One thing is that yes, the thing could be good, but if you don't have the right person to do it, you have you create problems. So I'm sure that if really this is working in very well in other countries, definitely with time we'll buy into it. But currently the situation as it is now is that we need blood. And people are dying.
That's what I keep saying. In Ghana.
Yes, in Ghana we need blood, and that is where we are now. So we need to tackle the issue of someone be lying in bed and you need just 1 unit, 1 pint of blood, and then you lose your life. And if that person happens, yes, usually we say if the person is the breadwinner, this person. But beside it, even if the person is not the breadwinner, the effect on the family and what that person will have contributed to society is lost. So nobody should die just because of blood.
Very well. Nobody should just because of blood. So Tina, some of the health screenings that you will be doing at Legon this Saturday, do you mind? What are some of the screenings? It's free, right?
Yes, please, it's free.
Free?
Yes.
Free. Everything is free.
So yes, I can just come and do my screening without a blood donation?
Yes, please. Aside blood donation, we have like breast cancer screening, the eye screening as well, and there'll be HIV testing.
Yes.
Yes.
So we have breast cancer, what do you call it? Examination.
Yeah.
Then HIV.
testing.
HIV testing. Then
cervical cancer.
Cervical testing as well.
Yes, please.
Then what else?
Whatever you need. Counseling. You know, PPAG is the lead NGO when it comes to provision of sexual and reproductive health. Counseling on any issue, parent-child communication. There are times these are issues, you know, in this time you need some information. How do you talk to your child about sex? Your child comes back and wants some questions on sex, answers on sex. What do you do? So PPAG has that how do you call it, expertise when it comes to parent-child communication. Maybe you've not started having children now, but you can come over, you meet the counselors who will take you through how to have break that silence, how to communicate to your child as a family, how to have the parent-child communication on sexuality, if you have issues about relationship, there are counselors who will be available to counsel you, and then so there are a whole lot. We can't mention all here. We do
I
so
can
many
imagine.
things.
But we will take a quick commercial break. When we come back, you are going to, I believe the second resource person is online, so we won't go to that commercial break. Let's have him. He's going to talk about the Energy Bond Buhawa. Hello, Edmond.
Yes,
Yes, good evening and welcome to Hot News. Kindly forgive us for calling a bit later on as we indicated. But
good evening. It's always a pleasure.
yeah, thank you very much. As a member of IES, what are your comments concerning the current development concerning the bond raised, especially certain costs elements which the public has come to the public notice and people are making a lot of noise about? What are some of the comments on IES?
Yeah, Eugene, it's a bit bizarre looking at what we have seen. You see, the energy sector bond has been issued by government. It's important Ghanaians understand why the government is struggling to raise the bond. You see, when you issue a bond, and you issue the bond and you say that you issue the bond based on certain fundamentals. And the fundamentals was that this bond that we're issuing it on the balance sheet of VRA. And we're going to use the monies that they collect via ECG to service the coupon rate and the principal of the bond that was issued. But the question is that all investors who are buying the bond are asking themselves that how did this debt come into being? This is several years and several decades of accumulated debt of VRA to generating the power, transmitting to Gridco, and then ECG doing the collection of the funds. But over the years, they've not been able to collect.
So the people who are buying the bond are asking that, you are issuing this huge bond, and you are saying that you are going to use the money through that you collect through ECG to pay us. How are we sure that you'll be able to get the money effectively through ECG to be able to pay this bond? And what is even very critical is that the bond that is being issued, it's issued at a very high interest rate, which is about 19.5 to 20%. Meaning that, Eugene, the over 10 billion bond that the government is issuing, every year, over 2 billion cedis will be paid as interest. So that is the problem that the government is facing. And you go and bring an arranger who you say you have created an SPV, that is a special purpose vehicle, that should lead the issuance of the bond. And then their duty was to make sure that they convince investors to be able to subscribe to the bond. And then their fee alone is over 80 million cedis. And they've not been able to raise the bond. So what IES is concerned about is we want to try and see the document, the contractual agreement between the government of Ghana and that of the ESLA PLC that was formed as a special purpose vehicle to arrange to serve as transaction advisors to raise this bond for us that they've not been able to raise, and see whether the 80 million cedis that is being quoted, or the 88 million around, whether that money will be paid to them even though they've not been able to raise this bond. And another thing is that at what target did the government of Ghana give to them to raise the bond at in terms of the coupon rate? Because if you go to the market today and you are raising a bond at 19.5 to 20%, that is a very big worry to the taxpayer. Because what it means is that from today, for the next 10 years, anytime you pay electricity bills, some of the money will be going to service this bond, and you will be slave to this payment for 10 years. That is what is going to happen. The question is, these arrangers, have they been able to execute the mandate that was given to them in the contractual agreement between the government of Ghana and that of the ESLA PLC? If they've not been able to achieve that, why are we giving them these huge sums of money as arrangement fees? The second thing is the administrative fees, which is also over 80 million cedis. And it is very worrying because even if we decide to put it in dollar terms, that is close to or a little over $20 million, if my mathematics is right, for only administrative expenses. Now, what is administrative expenses? Administrative expenses is printing of documents, is photocopy, it is travel, it is maybe per diem, and phone calls, and then organization of meetings. Can we see the breakdown of all those expenses that has amounted to $20 million
No, Edmond.
in raising a bond of 26 billion cedis? It doesn't make sense.
Edmond.
Yes.
On the document that was released, we don't know of its authenticity yet. There's an amount of 400,000 cedis for printing, actually. So the 80 million administrative cost does not include printing.
You see, if you have 400,000 cedis for printing, what kind of printing is it? Are we printing? Are we doing digital book binding? I don't understand. Because what kind of printing is it that they are doing that is costing the taxpayer 400,000 Ghana cedis? I don't understand. And you see, for us at the Institute, we want to see more. We want to see what went into the cost component of all of these expenses. Because if you total it, I think it's a little over 177 million Ghana cedis. 177 million Ghana cedis alone, I think, can extend electricity to a lot of villages across the country. And if we want to have serious energy security for the country, it is critical and imperative that the managers of the national economy try as much as possible to cut down on what I would call, unnecessary expenses so that energy security can be enhanced for the people of this country. Because you can't go and spend 177 million Ghana cedis, assuming the figures that is flying around is true, on administrative expenses, on printing, on arrangers' fees, and all of that. When I looked at what was put, I hope those figures are not true. If those figures are true, then it's
a serious
very
problem.
difficult. It's a serious problem.
Yes.
It's to be a very bad situation for Ghana, especially when the bond has not been raised.
Indeed, Edmond. Thank you. Many thanks for these insights. And definitely, we'll try and wait for feedback on the part of the government. And when they come out, we'll try and bring you into the studio so we can have an extensive discussion on this development. Thank you very much. Have a very good evening.
A pleasure.
Yes. So, viewers, that was Edmond Combat. He is with the IES, and he's waiting on some of the concerns of the institute about especially the bond and certain cost elements. If these cost elements happen to be the case, if they are true, then it means there's a cause to worry, because some of us laymen cannot simply understand why we should use 400,000 Ghana cedis as printing and 80 million Ghana cedis as what other administrative cost. I mean, it raises a lot of eyebrows. So we were hoping that these figures are just false to begin with, so that we can all sleep and smile. But other than that, it means Ghana has a very serious problem, and I don't think Ghanaians will let this slide by. So back to the studio with me here, my guest, Ernestina and Charles, volunteers from PPAG, and we are looking into. We've talked about some of the issues concerning blood donations and whatnot, and I think they've managed to convince me. The phone lines have been open. We'll take just about 2 calls, then we'll just wrap it up here. 0241 501 900. Let's have your say on this issue, blood donation. And Charles, any last words in just about 2 minutes before I give the mantle to Tina? I didn't want to roast a bit this evening.
Yes, we just call on the general public, especially students of the University of Ghana, that on Saturday they should all troop to the athletic oval and come and donate.
No, they will be there, so they will come. So when you donate, I mean, of course, you get some tea and whatnot.
Yes.
Some Milo, bread.
I don't want us to focus so much on what we'll get, but I feel that,
because I have a guy in the studio, his name is Lawrence. That's for him. When he donates, he's going to eat about 3 balls of banku.
Yes, but you should just believe that when you donate, you save a life. And that joy should be enough. That should be the major motivation for me, for anybody who is coming. Beside the other ones that just, I would say, icing on the cake. But the main motivation for me to donate, and for others, which I'm urging them to come, is that you're doing this to save a life.
I mean, I totally agree with you.
Yes.
The main motivation is to save a life. Yes, but somebody's main motivation is the icing on the cake.
Yes.
No, not necessarily the cake. So you can't.
The other one, get you just like a health screening. You come.
Yes.
You get to know your blood group. You get your blood gets screened. You know whether you have an STIs or not. And then there are counselors, these days.
And will they give some prescriptions? Maybe not drugs, but after somebody gets screened, then you get to know that.
Of course, there will be an eye screening, and if your eye is screened and then you need lenses or whatever medication they'll recommend. And then I'm sure when, for instance, the eye screening, if you go to their facility, you'll not be treated as a walk-in client.
So you get some
discounts
here and there. Okay.
So it's very important to come and go through all these things. Our counselors will be on standby to also receive you. If you have issues, they'll talk to you and counsel you, and then I'm sure you'll be refreshed. So we'll call on everybody, the camera, the sound,
my cameraman, yes.
And then
the guy has told me that when he donates 3 huge balls of banku,
everybody should come.
Yes, Lawrence.
They should be rest assured that with the refreshments.
Refreshment. Yes, what sort of refreshment?
Something nutritious.
No, my guy doesn't want Milo, so that's why I keep eating on the fire. That's why he wants his banku. So get him.
They should just name it and then we'll provide it.
So viewers, I mean, this has been interesting with being in the studio with Charles Nyagba from PPAG, volunteers from PPAG and Ernestina Siao. They are advocates, and they are also calling the public out to come out this Saturday for the blood donation exercise. I think it's very important that we know that to donate blood is to save a life. You never know when you will be lying on the bed or a relative of yours will be lying on the bed. So let's make time to go there on Saturday. But I think in the meantime we have a caller online. Let's hello caller. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir, and welcome to Hot News.
My name is Peter. I'm calling from Papa.
Yes, sir.
What they are doing is very nice. So everybody should go and support. Even coming Saturday, I'm happening here at Tapati in the park. That's also that they are donating blood for the Apinto Government Hospital. So donate blood, a pint of blood today and save a life tomorrow. So well done. And bravo to Pan-African. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, and definitely Pan-African would definitely partner with anything truly African, and I think it's this is in the right place, trying to advocate and push this whole agenda for blood donation. So Tina, like I said, I didn't feel your last words. I mean, say something. Tell us something.
My last words, pleading
PPAG.
with the general public. I wouldn't say the students because we've been doing that on campus. So with the general public, it's not mainly for the students, but for any.
So what is your target? This for this exercise?
For the donors, we're looking like 200.
And I mean, how many units do you intend to hit? I mean,
as many as we can get.
As many. So you don't have your target range. You have that information.
Well, as she rightly said, we're looking at over 200 people turning up to donate. So in effect, we're looking at over 200 pints of blood for the. Yes.
Oh, okay. And then the National Blood Bank needs about 250,000.
Yes.
Annually.
Yes.
Okay.
And from our statistics that we got, they had about 160,000. That's the whole of 2016.
Okay. It's so there's more room for improvement.
They've not made their target, so.
Oh, okay. And then so what are some of the things? Who can donate actually? I mean, we are looking at. I mean, if I'm 60 years old, look at me, 60 years old. Can I just walk in there and donate?
When you get there, you get screened.
You get screened to see, okay.
Yes. The blood bank, they mostly come with their personnel, or should I say their staff.
Okay.
So yeah, they check you and see if you're actually capable.
So it's not about your size.
No.
So it doesn't mean that for someone like me can donate a bucket or so. So yeah, okay. So it's about BMI thing.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So before you can. So that's why we're saying people should even come, because with free health screening, you come and you even get to realize that maybe you can't donate.
And you rather need that. So any advice on some of the foods before we go, and some of the things we should be eating, because it's a health thing and it's important that we know. Perhaps some of us before the whole discussion were predisposed to a certain angle, but now I think I'm getting a whole trip. So any advice on some of the things that we should be eating and drinking? Probably Friday night. So come Saturday morning or Saturday, we'll be quite relaxed and ready to pull our blood out there.
Yes, what I would say for nutrition or what we eat, everything in moderation.
Everything in moderation. So Friday evening,
moderate.
My brother Kwame cannot go and have a bottle or two prior to Saturday morning.
No, I don't think to take alcohol will be the best.
Oh, okay.
Because I come to donate the following day. So.
Okay, so viewers out there, if you are going to show up on Legon and the students on Legon campus, we advocate that you don't take any alcoholic beverage or anything. So that
before we leave, we also want to acknowledge our sponsors.
You want to acknowledge them?
Yes.
Then you pay me.
One of the sponsors are Pan-African TV.
Pan-African TV. Oh yes. Truly African. Yes.
You've contributed more than enough to this program, the success of the program. We want to say thank you. We also had Vortic, our mother company or organization, which is PPAG, has been very supportive. The PPAG clinic staff will be coming over to also support.
So you have a clinic actually?
Yes.
Where is it located?
It's located at Latabri Okoshi, and then we have clinics all across the country and youth centers dotted across the country.
With description PPAG clinic.
Yes, PPAG clinic.
Frankly, I've not cited one before.
Yes, in Tamale and.
So with such clinics, can you just working for free screening, or
Yes.
or it's just when you organize such programs? So you can work in the
Yeah, you can work in for services. Most the services that are free are offered on free of charge, and those that you even take money, just subsidize something small to, I mean, take care of the I would say the running cost.
There are some things
Yes,
local for
yes,
you.
yes.
Because I'm going to hold you on after this program. I'm going to hold on, and I'm going to make at least a small arrangements and lobby for my guys in the studio to probably, if they cannot make it tomorrow, they can probably pass in some of that time to do some free screening here and there. You know, I think it's very important.
It's very important.
So yes, and the last note, viewers, please, if you are going to show up come Saturday, we advocate that you do not take any alcoholic beverage to get too intoxicated or intoxicated at all. So you can skip a Friday evening for Saturday. I think we have another caller online. We just lost that caller, so we'll try and wrap it up here. Any last words, Latina?
As I was saying, I'm
Yes.
just leaving everyone to show up. This
So come Friday evening, Lawrence can eat a lot of banking
Yes, he can.
to make the blood flow.
Yeah. So the program actually starts 7 a.m. and it ends at 5 p.m. So this
7
is
a.m.
the whole day. Yeah.
Oh, okay, definitely. And Charles, any last words since we're just wrapping up?
You say come and donate to save life.
Come and donate to save a life.
Yes.
Well, viewers, this has been Minister Nasiao and Charles Nyabra with me in the studio, volunteers from PPAG, and they are saying come and donate and save a life. Saturday, 7 a.m. to what? 5 p.m. at Legon. Come and donate and save a life. There'll be a lot of health screening, free health screening. I think there's going to be breast cancer,
Yes.
eye,
care.
HIV, cervical cancer. And I mean, really,
Yes.
I mean, where are you going to get this? And of course, all donors would also walk away, not empty-handed. Some of them, something small, just
Yes.
to, knock out the dizziness
Yes.
and whatnot. No, okay. This has been very fruitful, and we hope that you all make way to Legon come Saturday. And the location, Legon, which part of
The
Legon?
Athletic Oval.
Athletic Over, Legon. Thank you very much for making time to join us in Hot News. And guys, thank you. Always welcome to Pan African TV and Pan African. We're very glad to help in this regard as well. It has been Hot News, and come away tomorrow 9 p.m. We'll come again. Just see you then.